Hey guys, this video is sponsored by Amino Apps, a community-based app that takes the best features of Reddit and Twitter and combines it into a user-friendly interface right at your fingertips on both Android and iPhone. On Amino Apps, you can join an Amino, which is essentially a specific community page on a niche topic you love. For example, by joining the Star Wars Battlefront Amino, you can get the latest news about the game, participate and create various polls and quizzes, share ideas and posts, participate in discussions and challenges, and be a part of an active community surrounding the game. Being a huge fan of Skirmish, I made a poll on Amino asking if players were more interested in playing offline or if they were looking forward to multiplayer in Battlefront 2. Immediately, people began engaging with my post and reaching out to me for other discussions. I'd like to ask you to participate in the quiz as well on Amino by downloading the app and joining the Star Wars Battlefront Amino. Not to mention, there's always funny memes and GIFs on there, and if you're like me and like to waste time on your lunch break or at a doctor's office, then this app is for you. But without further ado, let's get into the news. So recently, a bunch of leaked information has surfaced on the internet surrounding Battlefront 2 due to players data mining the alpha that was sent out by DICE for players to test. A user by the name of Uninspired Zebra has managed to dig up information regarding heroes that will be playable in Battlefront 2, along with most of their abilities that they will use. If you guys aren't already familiar with Uninspired Zebra's work, he's the same guy that managed to data mine Hero Blast and Skirmish in EA's first Battlefront game before players ever knew of their existence. So according to Uninspired Zebra's findings in the alpha, 16 different heroes were found in the game's coding, 9 of them being heroes from the previous game, and 7 being new heroes introduced in Battlefront 2. There will also be a link in the description if you'd like to take a deeper look into all the heroes and their abilities yourself. So to start, it looks like Princess Leia will be returning to Battlefront 2. However, it seems like her playstyle will be slightly different from the first game. From what Uninspired Zebra dug up, it appears she'll play more like Jyn Erso in DICE's first Battlefront game. Here, Princess Leia will be wielding a pistol this time around, and will be able to switch between that and her personalized E11. Leia will also have a concussion grenade that will disorient enemies, and she'll be equipped with her squad shield, which sounds like it'll work like the one from the first game. It seems Leia will be more offensive this time around, but will also be able to provide defense for herself and teammates through the squad shield. She no longer has a pickup or health drop, as it seems the concussion grenade has replaced this. Luke also makes a return, and it looks like he'll play very similar to the first game in terms of mobility across the battlefield. From the mined data, it appears Luke has 2 new abilities. One that acts similar to his passive trait in the first game, which increases Luke's speed based on the amount of executive kills you get. However, here it appears it can be activated at any time and will likely last for a specific duration. The second new ability is called Force Repulse, which seems very similar to Force Push in that it deals damage to nearby enemies, except here it comes from the ground. And of course, Luke still has the signature Force Push ability, which will likely act similar to the Force Throw in that it'll send enemies flying away but not instantly killing them. Vader and Palpatine are also in according to the findings, and they both seem like they'll play similar to the first game as well. However, the Emperor has a new ability called Dark Aura that slows down nearby enemies. Vader also has all his abilities from the first game, and like Luke, his passive trait from the first game seems like it'll be in Battlefront 2 as an ability that you can manually activate. Kylo Ren's abilities were also found in the game's code, and they seem to be what you might expect. He has Force Pull, which is pretty self-explanatory, Force Freeze, which apparently immobilizes all nearby enemies, and Saber Charge, which sounds like Darth Maul's spin attack that we've seen players use during EA Play. I'm curious to see if you can use Force Freeze on Blaster Fire, and I know when the game comes out, players are likely going to test it right away, as this is one of his most iconic powers in The Force Awakens. We know Yoda was confirmed for Battlefront 2, and it appears his abilities have been uncovered in the alpha, and just like Kylo Ren, they're exactly what you might expect. His first ability is called Force Absorb, which allows Yoda to absorb blaster fire and unleash an energy wave that damages all nearby enemies, and can even knock them over. His second ability is called Dash Attack, which again sounds like a similar move to Darth Maul's spin attack. Like Darth Maul though, Yoda can only perform this move 3 times in a row before it goes into cooldown. Yoda's final ability is currently unnamed, or at least its name hasn't been found in the code yet. He can essentially remove any status element and can heal as long as this ability is not in cooldown. This makes him great against Kylo Ren and may even cancel out Force Throw against Darth Maul or Force Choke against Darth Vader. The description for this ability also sounds like he can heal at will instead of having to wait in order to heal. Lando is apparently making a return with his X8 Night Sniper pistol, but his abilities have slightly changed from the first game. Now it seems he'll have a smoke grenade which will go hand in hand with the Night Sniper pistol. His second ability allows him to lock on to 5 enemies in a row and unleash a one-hit kill headshot similar to Greedo's ability from the first game. And finally, Lando has a disabler device that disrupts the radars of nearby enemies and can even reveal enemies through walls. It can also be detonated at any time for explosive damage on an enemy. Bossk and Chewie appear to be returning as well, with only slight changes to their abilities. Most of them are the same, except here, Bossk has proximity bombs that he can place, while Chewie has a grenade that breaks into clusters and electrocutes enemies that the clusters hit. They both will be using their weapons from the previous game, both the Ralby and the Bowcaster respectively, but it seems like Bossk's Ralby may have a feature that allows it to switch between normal firepower and its ability to shoot micro grenades, simply because that detail is brought up in the weapon's description. It was confirmed during EA Play that Finn and Captain Phasma would become playable during Battlefront 2's first season as free DLC. Well, Captain Phasma's description was found in the game, but not her abilities. Finn wasn't found either. Captain Phasma will be equipped with the F-11D, which is apparently the successor of the Empire's E-11. The description calls it a long-ranged weapon, so perhaps it will either have a different firing rate as the E-11, making it suitable for long range, or it'll have the same fire rate as the E-11, but will be just as accurate at long range as it is at short or medium range combat. Iden Versio was found in the game, however no description or abilities were found for her. And finally, General Grievous was found in the code as a playable hero. Unfortunately, his description and abilities were not found, however, his weapon description managed to be in the code, and from it, he will indeed be using his lightsabers, or perhaps the lightsabers that he has stolen from fallen Jedi. Now, according to a private message a user on Reddit had with some_info, Count Dooku, Anakin Skywalker, Jango Fett, and Obi-Wan will not be playable heroes at launch. However, he does say they could appear later on down the road as free DLC. If you guys aren't sure who some_info is, he's essentially the guy who leaked everything about Battlefront 2 relating to EA Play before the official channels announced anything. You can check out my previous videos on that, as I covered all of his predictions, which all ended up being true. He's the same guy who leaked information of Battlefront 1 before it was revealed as well, so I would certainly consider his words here. However, it should be noted that although this information was uncovered in the alpha, it doesn't mean that it will all make it into the final game, nor does it mean it will be all of the heroes will get in the final game. DICE already confirmed Rogue One content, and we see Death Troopers in the trailer, so I wouldn't be too surprised if Jyn Erso and Director Krennic made their way into the game at launch as well. I should also note that these are character models and descriptions that were found in the alpha by Uninspired Zebra, so perhaps heroes like Finn and Director Krennic haven't had their models or descriptions created yet, which would explain Captain Phasma's appearance, but not Finn's. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video and found this information just as exciting as I have. Whenever data miners leak their findings, it almost feels like peeking into a present just before Christmas Day. Don't forget to check out the Star Wars Battlefront Amino app, as it's an awesome way to communicate with other really cool Battlefront players and get involved with the community as a whole. Remember to like the video and subscribe if you want to see videos similar to this. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.